Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are reviewing 2 Masterchef episodes, which we weren't expecting. They were episodes, we'll just start with episode 11, which was the Military Rations Mystery Box Challenge. And the guest chef for today was Andre Rush, who used to be in the military. And what the challenge was, besides it being a mystery box, was that you had to use a package of MREs, whatever, and what a military person would have when they were out and they would not be near a place where they ate, like a cafeteria or a dining hall, and they would have these packets of things with them. It's called an MRE, rations, and they open them up and they had to make some kind of upscale or a reasonable dish or meal using these rations. And what they could do is they could get a meat from the pantry, which there were limited different ones, and use that as part of the dish with the MREs, and then come up with the rest. So one very, very important thing was there are now no more regional alliances. So everybody's on their own, and the winning team from last week, their advantage was they got to pick out their meats first. And when they did that too, they started ticking down the time on the clock for everybody in which to prepare your meal. So the team that lost, they didn't get that time because they had to wait until the team which won last week picked out all their foods. So that was kind of bad, but it's still, even the ones who got to go first, that was time off the time that they would use to make something. So anyway, do you want to say anything now?
Yeah, I'm glad that all the people who didn't watch the episode and chose to watch this video instead got to hear all that crap. So I just thought the fact that, first off, with this season, they were skipping all these weeks and delaying the show, and then all of a sudden now they're going to rush it to an end and do the 2 episodes a week thing. I just think it's bizarre. It's like they're treating Masterchef like it's some sort of a nothing show, and they're treating it like it's like a throwaway show, like some paranormal investigation show on the Travel Channel. They're treating it like that. And I think that it's weird because I don't remember that happening in the past. I don't know if Safi remembers or if maybe she...
No, I remember that they had 2 shows in a row at a certain time. It seems like when the Olympics were on.
Back then, too?
I don't know if it happened very often, but I do remember, I think maybe last year, the year before.
No, I mean back when MasterChef was popular.
Oh, no.
No.
I don't think so.
And it's really shitty, and so I really didn't like having to watch 2 episodes. But then again, and this one was even worse because it was like a repeat of the last couple of episodes where they got rid of a great cook, and they kept a shitty one, and then the shitty one did terrible, and they're like, oh no, maybe we should send the shitty cook home finally. It did the same thing. The same thing again.
It was very blatant this time, I'll tell you. Very blatant. And
the group of people they have left is just so underwhelming. They're just so they're not... It's weird. It doesn't even feel like it's a real MasterChef season. It feels like a different show or something, because the people there, they're just the only reason why they're better is because they're better than other people that are there, luckily.
Well, they might make fewer mistakes, but they're still, you think it used to be they'll have somebody and they might make a pretty big mistake. And then they learn from that and they get better and better and better and they start shining. This is when they should have somebody start shining and being like going to the front of the pack.
And they don't have that.
No, they don't. And I don't want to be mean, and I'm not being mean or hateful. Either is he. It's just that's the way it is.
It's like they want people to shine, I guess. Like, I guess they think that your master crush shines. I guess
they're
they
giving
think,
them help too. You said that they were offering lots of assistance and
they
advice.
Gave everyone help, like everyone there. It was like watching a first grade class, Masterchef Junior, 2.0 with adults, and like they went around. Oh, can you taste the sauce for me, Chef Gordon? Oh, sure, young girl. This is what Gordon Ramsay sounds like. Oh, your sauce needs a touch of lemon and pepper. Like they went around doing that for every contestant. So the fact that like any contestant did a bad job is just even worse. Like, so I really didn't like the first episode. I thought it was very dull and kind of like a waste of time. And then the thing they did at the end made it even worse. I thought it was a huge disappointment based on the concept of cooking with MREs. Yeah. I thought that would be a much better episode and a much better idea of an episode, and it turned into 45 minutes of first grade class and then a really bad judgment at the end. So it was just like, I give it a D+, like Dark Winds.
Don't we want to say who are the best and the worst?
Oh, go ahead, but I just wanted to get it out of the way because it's like...
It was kind of the end of it, and who they sent home and who they allowed to stay really irritated me. Well, I guess I wanted to say, too, they had to use 3 MRE ingredients, and Chef Andre Rush and Ramsay actually made a dish to show everybody how they would use MRE ingredients and put them and mix them in to make a regular dish. I don't even know what they made. I think was it salmon?
It's just so lame. It's like, you think about, what if Cutthroat Kitchen did this idea? It would have been a lot better. It would have been so much more entertaining. Probably would have still had shitty judging decisions because every episode on that show had shitty judging decisions, but it would have been a much more fun episode.
And just to tell you, let's see. I don't know what everybody made because they didn't even show them. They might have shown their faces or showed them cooking from afar, but which is still weird to me. I don't get it. I think they have 13 contestants now, or 12. And I think it's 12, yeah. So just to tell you what the ones I know, and then I begin to think, you know what? Maybe they're just focusing on the people who are either going to win or they're going to lose.
That's what they do.
And that's kind of almost what they did. So Nina from Maine, she made chicken and Indian spices and then turned that into chicken tikka masala. Colby made ground pork meatballs and sauce, maybe something else. I just have to generally tell you. Wayne from Columbus, Ohio, he got these pork chops, and immediately I was thinking of the risotto, the pumpkin risotto. I thought it was a huge mistake. And he bought pork chops to cook, and he made tzatziki sauce and something else, and he used a total of 9 ingredients, MR ingredients, which was too much. and they were like appalled, and he got called on the carpet for it at the end. A Hawaii girl made ahi tuna with couscous and strawberry sauce. Kennedy made a ribeye because she's used to cooking them. In fact, she said that she and her partner do MRE things, and they kind of like invent dishes to make with them and all the time, make a party of it or something. Grant from Iowa, he made gnocchi. And Charles, the Cambodian guy from Columbus, made a curry halibut, Thai style. Lizzie made chimichurri beef with beef fillet. And Bryn made scallops with faux paella, which I have no idea what that means, a faux paella.
It means that she took a bunch of... Let's see. What is pie? What the hell is that? What does it look like? Because then I'll tell you what
really
she put in it.
I thought wasn't that something that you had at a party, and it had clams and stuff in it.
What do you mean?
That goodbye party?
A bi party?
Or end of the year party or whatever.
A bisexual party? What are you talking about?
Don't do that.
That's really weird.
It was with your 4th grade class.
Ooh, that bitch! I can't remember the only food.
The husband made it and he passed away.
He's gone now. So the only good food at that party was the dirt cake that we had brought. So that's the only food that I remember from that party. So I don't remember that.
She won't get in trouble. Because she'll be one of the best, and I have to say, because I believe I know what she put in it. You know, suicidal girls, they like to eat a lot of junk because it helps them feel like the junk that they feel like all the time. I don't know what Marco's talking about.
So my guess is probably the grossest chips ever, Funyuns. A bunch of Funyuns,
Ew.
ground up. Twinkies, Ho-Hos. The hell was that?
I don't know what Marco's talking about. She put too much saffron in it, and when she said she was putting saffron in it, my alarm bells went off immediately, because we cooked something a long time ago for either Jim's or Marco's class for a special Swedish day, Santa Lucia Day. I think it was Santa Lucia buns, and it had saffron in it. Saffron is a very expensive, like a yellow spice, and it's very, very strong.
Saffron is gross.
and isn't very, I didn't like it.
And it was funny, though, because that was one of the instances where it's like she needed that help. They gave it to her. Like a 1st grade class.
Okay, and just to tell you, I don't know what the Alabama girl, the mushroom guy, the New Orleans, or the Alaska woman made. I have no idea.
Well, the Alaskan girl is just there to have fun, so it doesn't really matter with her.
So anyway, since there was like 12, and also the guy. Oh no, wait, never mind. Forget it. Sorry.
The guy.
Okay, so the 3
really
best
smart.
were Grant's gnocchi, Colby's meatballs with ground pork, and Bryn's scallops with saffron. Even though she used a little too much, they still thought she cooked them well, which that's another risky thing to cook. If you don't know how to cook scallops, you might as well go home, because they can get you really good on that. The 3 worst were Charles's halibut.
Ugh.
The fish was dry, and when he was cooking it, they tasted it, and they said it was so spicy they could hardly eat it. And he said, "I'm sorry, I just eat really spicy food." And he tried to tone it down by I think he put some strawberry jelly in it, because that's what's in an MRE. They have a little package of strawberry jelly.
And salty.
And it was too salty because apparently MREs are traditionally too salty.
Now, you moved on too fast, Safi. I mean, I know you want to get this episode over with, but, you need to actually do the review.
Okay.
So the person who won was Masterchef of the Corn, and he won for his food.
Gnocchi.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think. I'm glad he made it well. I didn't. Gnocchi can be problematic too.
Yeah, it was surprising. Like, there are a couple of times where these chefs are impressive, but it's just very subtle because they don't focus on it at all. They just focus on, I don't know what they choose. Like, it's really weird what they choose to focus on and what they choose not to focus on. Especially next episode where they made one team look like it was doing really badly and they weren't at all.
No, they weren't. That was surprising too. The three worst were the shitty halibut. Sorry, but it was that bad. Nina's tikka masala and Wayne's undercooked, very much so, pork chops.
Lamb chops.
Lamb chops. I'm sorry.
I don't know how you could get those confused.
Well, I'm thinking about
Yourself.
Colby's pork. Marco, what in the heck? Anyway, even though his lamb chops were undercooked, there was a little tiny area of them that had been cooked, and when they tasted it, they liked it. So they really let him off. But Charles got Nina with her tikka masala, which they said she, quote, hid the MRE ingredients in the foods, which I kind of really didn't get what they meant by that. But she got sent home. And I thought Charles, with his halibut, who hasn't done anything the entire show, and they focused on losing too. He hasn't done anything. And if sometimes if his dish has been bad, he was saved because somebody in his region won. The region they put him in was the Midwest, which I didn't agree with either because we were in Ohio and we're on Eastern Standard Time, so that's not the Midwest. So anyway, Nina got sent home, but she had a great attitude. And that
was a huge mistake.
It was a big mistake.
It was clear that Charles should have gone home.
Very clear.
It was so glaring that it was kind of like, really? You're going to do that with Charles too, like you did with Dara last year, where she could just make any mistake and get carried to the finale. And so in this next episode, what happened was, as I told you guys, was that they got rid of the great cook and they kept Charles. And he did terribly with Karen, but I kind of enjoyed it at the same time because she really got payback for what she did. She was about to like jump off a cliff like the suicidal girl.
Yeah, she was in a bad way.
And I did think like it would have been a horrible
census, but not any time for Nina. Well, the next episode was a fine dining tag team challenge. And because Grant, he was the one who made the gnocchi.
Masterchef of the Corn.
He's from Iowa. That's why he's saying that, because there's a lot of corn growing in Iowa. So anyway, he got to pick the teams of two, and also a stipulation was he had to cook with somebody too, and he picked Bren. So what would happen if their dishes, because they had to make three, if they were bad, Bren would be the one sent home, but since he had an immunity pin, he would get to stay. So the teams that he picked were Hawaii and Alabama, Jennifer from Arkansas, and Charles, Bren from the Northeast, and Grant, Colby and Lizzie, Kennedy and the Mushroom Guy, and the New Orleans woman and Wayne. And the three dishes they had to make were a dish called tagliatelle, which was kind of shrimp and noodles and some kind of nice creamy sauce. It was supposed to be not entree, appetizer. And then they had to make a filet mignon, and you know what would happen with that? It had to be cooked what is it? Raw with the right amount of pepper, because that became an issue in two.
It was inconsistent peppering.
Yes, that was an issue for at least two of the teams. And with sticky toffee pudding, which had to have a caramel sauce and cream. And that was a problem for many of the contestants as well. Getting it all done and having the right consistency of the cream, that was a case in one person's case, or one group's case, and the caramel sauce for many of them. It was too runny, it wasn't thick, it wasn't this, it wasn't, it was just unbelievable. Okay. Now, I don't know about talking about any of them except for the three best. So you have two sets of threes. So they're even. So you have three goods and three bads.
They do that for every episode, Safi. It's not different for this one.
Well, it's getting down, though. At least they're weeding them out. Although, God, in any other year, all of them would probably be weeded out. So, the result was, and also another stipulation was the team, the best team, would both get an immunity pin, both people. Okay? And I talked about the pepper. Some of them didn't use the pepper on the meat right. Two of the teams had overcooked meat because it turned out to be medium well.
Yeah, they're like, this is medium. It's overcooked.
Like, yeah, that's how I used to eat all of my steaks. That's what I like, and I've started eating it the way they like it. But it's still, when you look at that red meat, you think raw. At least I do. It just kind of weirds me out.
I just think that it really shouldn't matter. Like, unless it's like burnt to a crisp. Or it's completely raw, like it really shouldn't matter because everyone has preferences and they shouldn't just pretend like medium rare is the standard temperature because...
But it's not just them. On other shows, they do that too.
Because I
don't get it.
I would just always order medium or medium well.
That's what I would say, medium well. So, another issue of a lot of them, which, with this tagliatelle, they had to make the pasta, the noodles. So that was too thick. Most of them had too thick a pasta. You could tell by the noodles that they were too thick. And what happens is it takes longer to cook. Sometimes it's not cooked because it's so thick that it doesn't cook in time. So that was, yeah, and then another thing was a lot of things with the dessert. One of them, the cream was over whipped, which is unbelievable. And then I said there was problems with the sauce for a lot of them. It's too thin, it wasn't thick, and on, or they didn't have it. So what happens?
Well, just get to the top three and worst.
Well,
Best.
Hawaii and Alabama got the best because they're not on their own. They haven't been that great, but as a team, they worked really, really well together, and I was happy for them because.
And I didn't know why he put them together. In fact, most of his team choices were pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know what his rationale either. And then for the worst, he put Charles, the one.
But what about the other two best people? You only said one team.
I don't know. Did I put what?
Oh,
I don't think I
no.
put. What, did you put it? Do you know who got the best teams?
No.
I thought you wouldn't want me to say. You're afraid I'm giving it all away. Colby and Lizzie did really good, and
that's another one. Why did he put them together?
I don't know.
What do you think was going to happen?
Kennedy and the mushroom guy. They let's see what happened. they looked really bad. In fact, we thought either Kennedy or the mushroom guy was going to go home.
She had another bad moment where she got really mad at him for like taking his time and making the food right, and then she comes over and she makes like a terrible dough or something. I can't remember,
it was
but
too thick.
Right after, she finished like ragging on him for 20 minutes, she comes over and she makes something bad.
Yeah, but she recognized that. She apologized, and she admitted it. So she wasn't shy about admitting her mistakes. What else? And the New Orleans woman and Wayne from Columbus, they actually did pretty well together.
That was another pairing. Why did he put them together?
They didn't have any trouble because I think they're both older and they're just grown-ups, and they listened to each other and worked it out. So
it was funny with them though, because he got really stressed out again, and he started going like, and she's like, sorry.
Yeah, but he calmed down, but he gets a little frazzled and high-strung, and he does too much. He just tends to overdo and then thus making the wrong decisions, like pumpkin couscous and cooking lamb chops. It just freaked me out. So the worst one, I told you the best is Hawaii and Alabama. And then the worst was, who did I not say, and I almost started talking about, was Charles and Jennifer from Arkansas, the woman who has 6 kids.
How many?
6.
How many? I couldn't hear you. How many?
Charles got frazzled and froze, and he couldn't do anything, and I don't know, and she was making stupid mistakes too. She started working on the meat. That'd be about the last thing to do. They might get it peppered and everything and ready, and then that would be the thing that they would cook at the last. But they had this sticky toffee pudding. That was like a cake. It had to be baked in the oven, and then they didn't even get the sauce made for it.
He did not like being yelled at, which is totally understandable. But at the same time, it really wasn't his fault, because, we knew that he shouldn't have been there. And this is what happens when they keep these chefs too long, and they're still there, and they do really, really badly. And it's
they
like,
were the worst team.
Yeah.
And so now this is something I had wondered at the beginning. Now, if they have a losing team, do both of them get sent home? Because 2 of them want a pin. What? Because we weren't prepared to do that. And good thing we had some quick meal. That we could just eat really quickly and not worry about it, because it starts at 8 o'clock. So
I would give the tag team episode a C plus. I just can't give it any higher than that.
Well, I'll give the first episode a D plus, and I'll give the second episode, I don't know. I guess I'll give it a C plus. And I'm giving it the first episode D plus, because they should have sent Charles home. And I was really mad. I thought for sure they would send him home, because he hasn't had any. The only time he cooked something really, really good was that initial episode. And I thought he was going to be one of these people who cooked his ethnic food, Asian, like Cambodian food, and he would just try to cook it every week, or employ some kind of Asian influence into his cooking, and he would be. And this is what's happened before, and it's worked for others. They did really well, but he never even, that first episode that he made it onto the team, he made a really good Cambodian Asian dish, and then from then on it was terrible. He didn't do anything. Nothing. Not in the group challenges, the outside, the singular dishes he had to make inside. Nothing.
Or at least from what we saw.
Yeah. But they showed him quite a bit compared to some of the other people. So I'm like, well, what does he have to do to go home? Like last time, the first episode.
Meanwhile, you have someone who will just make one mistake and bye-bye.
Yeah. And that Arkansas woman who was with him, Jennifer, I don't know, I hope she recovers mentally, because she was about to have a breakdown because he was just standing there frozen.
She was crying.
And she was crying. She was really upset.
See, that's how you can tell she might be a Karen or might not be, because, usually Karens only cry when they're pretending that they're victims of something. Karens don't really have real emotions, so, they wouldn't really cry for real in, like, a situation like this. They'd just be like, oh my god, this guy sucks! Why am I with this guy? I want to be with someone else!
She didn't say anything like that.
That's what a Karen would do, but she was
didn't
like...
do that.
She was about to die.
She was very frustrated and upset because... And he admitted it, too. He said that he froze and that he just couldn't think. He was too stressed out. And I think Chef Ramsay told him to get a grip or something.
And I'll reiterate, it wasn't his fault. Like, if they had kept that other woman, the Viking woman, and they had been paired together, they probably would have done a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, we're not saying that we thought the Viking woman, that's what we call her, she's from Maine, that she would have won eventually. I don't think she would have won. Either does Marco.
Oh, then again, who is going to win?
Yeah, we don't have. There's no front runner.
Colby?
Really. Or Grant, who can't make mashed potatoes.
Masterchef of the Corn.
Yeah. So.
Master Crush.
It wouldn't have been such an ugly experience. And I don't know where because they wouldn't have known that Grant was going to pick them as a team. And so they didn't know what an ugly experience it was going to be to put Charles with somebody.
Well, I think no matter whom he would have put him with, it would have been bad.
Yeah.
Like, just pick someone else.
What if he would have put him with Grant, who's also...
You mean himself?
They're both from Columbus, so...
Safi, that's who he is. You're talking about Wayne?
I mean Wayne.
Oh.
Sorry.
That would have been...
Columbus guy.
That would have been depressing, because that would have just made Ohio look terrible.
Yeah.
Even more than it already does.
Yeah. So, but the New Orleans woman, like I said, who was paired with Grant, they did fine. They really did.
You mean Wayne?
Wayne. I don't know why I keep saying, because they kind of look similar.
No, they don't.
I think they do. I think
The
they're like the same age.
Master Chef of the Corn looks like a Pillsbury Doughboy, and Wayne looks like he looks like a stay-at-home husband, even though he's not. But that's what he looks like.
I don't know. I thought they're both older though. They're not really young. It seems like sometimes they've had on these MasterChef where most everybody's been pretty young, but this time they seem to have like a medium-ranged aged.
Well, they do have the girl from Alabama
Colby,
who's like,
Colby's really young.
maybe next time I should stop thinking about myself and think about the children instead.
I just like to laugh because she went to Harvard, and
yeah, it really shows.
And you would think that kind of experience would have shown how smart she was, but that wasn't when they did that group challenge at the Dodger Stadium, where she was thinking about herself and not thinking about what the kids would eat, which is what Chef Ramsay told them. He told them. It's not like they didn't know or didn't want to know, I guess. But he told them, he made a point of telling them.
She has some of the best lines because she just says some of the stupidest things the whole season. Like, remember, she said that people are scared of the South. Remember
well,
that?
Not in the way that she was thinking. So, anyway.
They're scared of the South!
I'm sorry, that sounds bad. And I'm sorry.
But her and the voodoo woman, the donut woman won.
Yes, they did a really good job. They listened to each other. They seemed like actually they enjoyed working with each other.
Yeah.
So, I think that is kind of a key to being successful in that show, is enjoying what you're doing, really liking what you're doing. And to me, the way these people are, they're just so stressed out. And they're afraid. And they don't have that extra, desire to win. I know they say they want to win, but they're ready to give up when something really hard, like doing these three, they said restaurant, fine dining restaurant challenge or whatever, that these people seem to get freaked out over hearing what they have to do. And so that just puts like a freeze onto when they start, like, oh my God, we got to do this. And Wayne from Columbus, oh my God, I've got to use the most ingredients of all the other contestants, which he did. He used more than anybody. MRE ingredients to make a dish.
Well, and then there's the time where the woman from New Orleans, she's putting a spoon in some sort of a pan or pot, and he's like, no, don't do that one. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. So anyway, so if you like this video,
and it will, I guess it'll be like that from now on with the 2-episode thing. So,
which I guess it's good now we know.
Yeah.
So we'll be prepared. We won't have any in-depth dinner, and probably get takeout food or something, or have the same kind of thing what we did. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and
Safi.
Bye.
No, hey Safi.
What?
What'd you think of the TV miniseries Echoes in the Darkness that you were supposed to review yesterday? What'd you think?
I liked it. I'd never heard of the case.
Well, thanks, Safi. Okay, bye.
Bye.